What's up, CrossFit? It is Wednesday, and today is our heavy day. So where last week was our first heavy day, back with a barbell, doing some back squats. Today we are doing a deadlift, and we are going to work to establish a 1 rep max. Now let me put a reminder out there that we're still getting back into it. Unless we're really consistent throughout quarantine, I don't want to see somebody hurt their back because they before quarantine they could deadlift 450, and so they load up their bar with something that would have been a normal warm-up weight or something that wasn't heavy before, and then you end up in a bad position and have something happen. So be mindful of that. Work up a little more meticulously. We're gonna have plenty of time to lift heavy today, so work up meticulously. Make sure you're lifting heavy, but heavy's subjective. So if you're not where you were before, that's okay. If today's probably not gonna be a day where we're gonna PR or deadlift or anything else like that. If you do, good on you. But again, getting back in the swing of things, we're working up to that 1 rep max, and then when we're done with that, we're going to do 3 sets of 10 to 15 Dimmel deadlifts, which we've done in the past, and we'll demo those here in a second, and then 3 sets of 20 back extensions on the GHD, which with quarantine, and we're not with quarantine, with COVID and all that stuff, we'll probably have to do a lot of disinfecting between people. So don't just like jump up there, use the back extension, and not wipe it down for the next person or anything else like that, because we only have 2 in the gym. So let's go talk about what we're getting ourselves into. We'll talk a little bit about the deadlift, about setup and execution. So when I approach the bar on the deadlift, in fact, could I have the camera swing around up front? So when I approach the bar for the deadlift, a lot of times one of the big mistakes that I'll see people make is they're gonna bend down and grab that bar, and that bar is super far away from their body. When I'm deadlifting, I want that bar to stay as close to my body as possible, 1, for leverage, and 2, because the further out that bar gets, the more likely it is that it's gonna pull me out of position. I'm not gonna be able to stand up with it well. So I'm gonna step up to that bar to where the barbell is either gently touching or resting against my shins. I'm about hip width distance with my feet, and then when I grab the bar, I like to go I want to grab it wide enough that my knees aren't gonna be forced to like cave in or anything else like that. So if I were to grab too narrow and I try to get set up, now my elbows are not blocking my knees from being in a good position. So you can double overhand, you can bias your grip, you can do whatever you need to do. I will do my best to deadlift with double overhand until I need to, and then I'll bias my grip, because if I bias and one hand starts to lose grip as I'm lifting, it's going to roll into the other hand, instead of if I'm double overhand and I start to lift and it starts to roll out, my fingers can't hang on to it. So, but biasing everything can sometimes lead to imbalances and bicep or lat, other things like that. I've seen bicep tears happen from bias grips. Not saying that hasn't happened here, I've just seen it happen in the past. But train double overhand as much as you can. You're going to get more grip strength out of that, and then switch when things get heavy. So double overhand grip on the bar. If you really want to, you can hook grip. A lot of very proficient and prolific powerlifters hook grip their deadlifts. It is uncomfortable, but there's no way around that. So from here, I'm gonna get set up. I want my back to stay nice and flat. So back is gonna be neutral. My hips are higher than my knees. I'm trying to keep my shins as close to vertical as I can. And from here, big breath into my belly, embrace, and then just stand up nice and straight. That finished position, my shoulders are now back behind the bar. My shoulders are also straight up and down. My hips are open. I'm not finishing here. I'm not finishing here. I want to make sure that I'm just standing up normal. And because it's a heavy day, that's a no rep. No dropping at the top and celebrating or anything else like that. So make sure that if you stand up that way, you're lowering the bar back to the ground under control. If we were lifting in a powerlifting meet, then if I drop at the top, I'm gonna get 3 red lights. It doesn't matter how awesome it was, how much of a PR it was, how great I feel about it, the judge is still gonna tell you that doesn't count. So why train any different in the gym? Yes, we can drop when we're doing reps and things like that in a workout, but when it's a heavy day, you gotta control that bar back to the floor. Discipline is a good thing. So that's our deadlift. So now we're going to talk a little bit about the Dimmel deadlift. Now the Dimmel deadlift is the first movement that we're doing for our accessory work today. And the Dimmel deadlift is a partial range of motion. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna actually start this movement at the top. I'm gonna lower it down to just above my knee and then quickly stand back up. So how that looks at speed. So I'm literally just working on that finished position. It's going to make your ability to finish that pull and get your hips through stronger. It does that in one of two ways. One, that explosive up, and again, that up should be fast. If I'm doing a Dimmel and I'm just here, that's not good enough. We want that quick engagement of the hips. We want that explosiveness to happen. So it should be from the top of the knee, quick back up, as fast as you can stand it back up. And don't be afraid on these, go heavy. If I can deadlift 450, then my Dimmel, I probably can Dimmel 275, 295, 305. Yes, it's gonna be rough on the hands, but you would be surprised at how heavy you can do a Dimmel deadlift with. So, and the heavier you go, obviously the more benefit, as long as you can maintain a good neutral spine. You're not rounding forward and standing up, because that's just asking for something bad to happen. But you've got that explosive up. You've also got an eccentric loading phase on the way down. So that eccentric phase where you're controlling the bar back down to just above the knee is going to also benefit. Eccentric loading is a way that is often used to, one, you can get brutally strong with it. Two, they can make you really sore, because when you take a muscle and you add tension and then you lengthen that muscle under tension, it actually does more damage to the muscle, the muscle tissue or the soft tissue of the muscle, the fibers and all that stuff, where you create more tears in the muscle through eccentric work than you do through concentric work. It doesn't feel as bad as concentric work, which is why people can put themselves in a little bit of trouble. If you're doing eccentrics on pull-ups and then all of a sudden your lats are super, super sore and you can't wash your hair the next day, but it didn't feel that bad in your workout, that's not an uncommon thing. So that eccentric loading phase also helps your tissue remodel in a way that it actually helps you be less injury prone. So we should be doing concentric and eccentric, and you will definitely see in the coming weeks and months that we have strategies and ways that we're going to be working a lot more eccentric work into our training, and you can overload those things. So that eccentric phase and that quick up is where you're going to see benefit from the Dimmel. It's also going to get challenging to hang on to that bar. So again, bias gripping the bar may not be a bad idea, but we don't use lifting straps and other things like that on a regular basis here. So either double overhand or bias grip on the Dimmel. Now the second one is going to be a back extension on the GHD. We're going to do 3 sets of 20. So I've got my GHD here. As long as my GHD is set to the right setting, the back extension, I'm going to do this facing the ground. So I'm looking down, I'm going to lower myself down, and I am not trying to round my back. I'm trying to keep my spine as neutral as I can for as long as I can. And from this position, I'm just going to come right back up to the top. So down and up, still working posterior chain, but it is a great way to really engage that low back, really squeeze those glutes and build some strength. And again, when we look at that eccentric and concentric, I've got a really long eccentric phase down, and the concentric phase is coming right back up. Now notice I'm coming back up to parallel. What I'm not doing, I'm not coming up so far and hyperextending. That's not how this goes. I'm just coming to parallel and then right back down. Parallel, right back down. Now this GHD right now might be set up for someone who's a little bit taller than me, but you want it to be that your hips are hanging off the front just a little bit, so that way you can get that full range of motion by only with that hip hinge. But again, working that posterior chain and doing all that stuff on the GHD, we're gonna have to make sure when we're using these in the gym today that we're spraying things down, wiping it down, disinfecting between people. Don't be that guy that's all sweaty at the end of your workout, gets on a piece of equipment, uses it, and then leaves it a sweaty mess for the next person. Clean up after yourself. Make sure that we're taking the proper precautions with COVID and all that stuff, and just disinfect, guys. But that's what we're getting into: heavy work or a heavy deadlift, and then some accessory work to really drive home some more stuff with that posterior chain just to get it better and stronger and get back to it. So it should be a good day today. Deadlift days are my favorite, and I hope more than anything that, again, you guys be smart with it. Don't go out there trying with the intention of trying to set a new PR. Just try to lift heavy for whatever heavy is today. It's gonna be a good day today. Can't wait to see you guys in the gym. Let's get after it.